This episode of Division I Rejects is brought to you by...
Drew Vanheck.
Nope. No sponsors.
Hungry
But welcome
Hours.
back. We're here. Kobe Manzo, Blaze Lauer, with Drew Vanheck joining us today. Drew, thank you for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate you.
First
Good,
time
glad
on,
having you here.
More than excited to be here.
Yeah, first time guy on the pod. I'm trying to think if we ever did anything. You ever come on like Cheap Seats in high school or anything? No, nothing like that, did you?
Nope.
Nothing.
This is my first time.
All right, I appreciate it.
Big crowd.
Drew,
XFT?
what's that?
XFT?
No, he didn't make it onto XFT.
What's
But Drew he went to go play initially baseball at Western Michigan.
I did
One of the
indeed.
best athletes that Blaze and I have played with in high
I
school.
appreciate it.
Absolute freak. Decided that he wanted to pursue his career in firefighting.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you're enjoying it.
Follow
So
the family tradition.
yeah, seriously.
More of a
So
business move for me. I love the game, but
100%.
kind of had to make a move.
But a dude that has been played some high level athletics at all levels and would definitely have the chance to play football at the next level too. Like
I'd
100%.
like to think so.
Yeah, I would. I would definitely
hope
say
so.
so. A Sports Center top
I would
10
hope so.
guy with that grab over the
Hey,
Rochester
that's
Adams
not
kid.
me,
Let's
man.
throw up the clip real quick
Hey,
on the
those are
pod
my boys.
just for them to see it. But thank you so much for tuning in, Division I Rejects. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever. Today we've got some pretty good topics back on the pod for the first time in a couple weeks. The biggest one coming from the NFL, Carl Nassib from the Las Vegas Raiders becomes the first active NFL player to come out as gay. So that headline right there, when I saw that initially, I was like, this is going to go one of two ways.
Yep.
Thankfully, it went in the better direction of the two, and people have been super supportive of this. Even his head coach John Gruden, which we'll talk about. But that has really dominated a lot of the headlines NFL wise. Obviously, off-season stuff. There's not so much you can kind of grab and really look at, and I think people start to read too much into shit in the off-season
No doubt.
when there's nothing really to talk about, so they just kind of try and fill time. But that is what we'll talk about today, a lot of. We will also get into Sean McVay and the comments that he continues to make about Stafford that just rub it into Lions fans' faces.
Hometown hero, baby.
Yep. So Stafford, obviously enjoying his new home in L.A., correct?
Yes.
LA.
Yep, L.A. So, because I'm trying to think, L.A. is Rams and Chargers, Las Vegas is Raiders.
Raiders, yes.
Yeah, okay. It's hard to keep them straight, man. And did you
Yeah, no, not really.
did you see the Bears actually purchased some new property like 45 minutes outside of Chicago
For
for a potential new stadium?
Oh,
oh.
I did not see
So
that.
maybe
that's
we'll have to chat about that later
Where-
a little bit.
Wait,
So
wait, no, you weren't in Chicago with that was Mitch and I, wasn't it?
yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
Yeah, no, it was sweet there. Those fans are reckless, man.
They
Going
are.
away
Yeah,
from
they
the.
are reckless.
Aren't they on the river?
Yeah, I think they are,
Mhm.
right? Because
They
that
are.
was
You can
So-
see or Lake Michigan from the stadium.
Michigan.
definitely ain't the ocean.
No, not the other. No, not the ocean.
But yeah, so they purchased some new property out there, and that wouldn't be like until at least I want to say like 2023 or something along those lines that they could even start to put that together or something. But the idea was, I guess, that they wanted to like add more to their
I think
like,
that money needs to
like-
go into a draft pick,
right?
Something like
But
that.
like they're trying to do what a lot of NFL teams have done and build like a casino, a shopping center, like really make the whole thing. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. That'll be kind of interesting to see.
Don't the Raiders have like a nightclub in there?
Yeah, say like Raiders are one that they
really?
kind of modeled it after. I
didn't
know
know
we'll
that.
talk about that a little bit. We can talk about the Raiders here pretty soon, but and then we'll round up the pod with a little bit of NBA talk because the Detroit Pistons got the first overall pick.
1970
I
last time.
still think the lottery, the whole idea of the lottery is so flawed.
it is.
And
Terrible.
hockey does it,
It
too,
is.
right?
Yeah.
I don't
Hockey does it too
Yeah.
because the Red Wings have gotten jibbed out of a
They
few.
got boned.
Yeah, they've gotten jibbed out of a
know.
few
And they've
picks.
been bad for a while now.
I
haven't
know
they?
they have, even with Eiserman at the helm. So
Yeah.
for Detroit, the lottery has been brutal. I think the idea of it just sucks. I guess it builds anticipation and gives people something to look forward
No, it
to,
does.
right?
It was
and like
interesting watching it and waiting
Ben
for
Wallace
the-
was up there,
yeah.
yeah, which he looks weird without an
Third up
afro,
one.
but
Yeah.
like, and it was him and Olajuwon, right? Because the Rockets
Yep,
were right there
the
too,
last
yeah.
two, last two, yeah.
So, that was pretty neat. But yeah, for Detroit, that was a big day. Pistons get the #1 overall pick, which is going to be presumably Cade Cunningham
Cunningham,
from
yeah,
Oklahoma
hopefully.
State.
Hopefully.
So that'll be interesting, and we'll touch on the NBA playoffs at the end of the pod. But otherwise, business as usual for the fellas. Got one more episode before I make the move up to Marquette, and they'll be bringing you more episodes up from Northern Michigan.
About that, are all you guys moving up together, or is it just you first?
No, Cade's gonna stick around a little bit, but we're all moving up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting move, but one more episode before that. Otherwise, like I said, find us on Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. You just saw Drew's top 10 catch. So, but Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Overcast. There's so many platforms to find us on. Appreciate you guys so much. Let's get into it. All right, Carl Nassib on Monday, like we said, became the first active NFL player to come out as gay. He's entering his 6th NFL season with his 2nd year with the Raiders, and he announced the news on Instagram, and he said he wasn't doing it for the attention, but because he felt representation and visibility were important. And I, for one, I respected the hell out of the way he did it. I mean, you also both of you saw the video, yeah.
Just a video.
It was just him in his backyard.
It's real.
It seemed super unscripted, just like, hey guys, just wanted to hop on here today and share a little piece of information with you. I'm actually gay. Thank you.
You know what that
And it was
video
done.
reminded me of?
What?
It's not, I'm not making fun or anything, but
Oh, boy,
that
here we
video
go.
of that guy
You're thin ice here.
in his garage, and he's like, "You're in my garage with my Lamborghini."
The knowledge guy.
Knowledge guy.
That's Lopez.
It had the same vibe to
Ty
it.
Lopez or
you know?
whatever, right?
He's just
Yeah.
like, here I am in my backyard, and I'm gay.
Like a subtle flex.
Yeah.
I give props to him, though. I give props to him because
that's-
something like this could be a domino effect.
Oh yeah. Well, people, right?
When it becomes a big deal like this, eventually it's going to becoming more normal as time goes on because that's what it takes. And
Yeah.
someone doing something like this can lead to many others doing it, and
Yeah.
it will be no different. They'll be accepted just like he was, just like all the support he got when he did this.
100%.
And it'll become more comfortable for others to do it. So I think it was cool of him to do it. Not
Totally.
first. There was
Yeah, yeah.
another gay NFL player, but he's not in the NFL anymore. And to come out,
And there have been a few actually that
There's
come
definitely-
out after they leave the league.
yeah.
Right, so they were gay during their
Pressure
time,
and
but they didn't want to come out because they wanted to avoid maybe some very awkward and maybe hurtful conversations in the locker
Also,
room.
they're
and
making
things.
millions of dollars, and who would have said they wouldn't have
Yeah,
been pushed the wrong way and ended up not with a career?
Exactly.
The way the world worked out.
their whole life hinging on So there's a lot of things that go into it, but for me, a lot of people always talk about how brave people are when they come out, and obviously you understand that, but I think this really put that to a head for me and helped me understand what kind of effect that has.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is on a larger scale because this is under the magnifying glass of the NFL and the sports world because the NFL is in such a unique position where we don't have a lot of individuals like this, at least that we know of. Like you said, this
that
could
have
very
done
well be a
this.
domino effect. We could have guys that do come out, but the problem is, like you said, a lot of this hinges, this is their livelihood, the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
And they, understandably so, don't want something that off the field, something that is, their sexuality to determine whether or not
uncontrollable.
they make a roster.
Yep.
Right? So if you're a guy, there's a 52-man roster or something like that. If you're 48, and do you really want to come out and then all of a sudden, you might lose, you might get
sad
off
to say that, but no.
Isn't that it sucks?
No.
It sucks, but I can totally understand why somebody would think twice about doing something like this.
agree.
Now, Nassib is in a solid situation because in his career, I mean, he's going into his 6th season, 143 combined tackles, 20 sacks. He had an interception last year with the
a lot of
Raiders.
success.
This is a guy that has produced on the defensive side of the ball. He plays defensive end. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. He was on Hard Knocks. Blaze, you were talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, when he played for Cleveland.
Yeah. And this is a guy that he can control a room. He commands attention when he goes into the room. And guys like that, especially in the NFL, where you're talking about the most elite of athletes, that if a guy can do that, he has the respect of his peers.
Oh, no doubt.
And you have to think okay, he didn't come out until now, but there's people probably usually have questions, and people are
100%.
probably start leaning, maybe thinking, assuming things, whether they're right or wrong. People always assume things,
But
right?
Carl understands that that's work aside. That has nothing
100%.
to do with work. He's at work,
100%.
he's doing his thing, and he's going to be a successful NFL player.
And I think
because
the
he
NFL is
has
ready for that,
mindset.
just
I do
because
too.
for those same reasons. I feel like guys in a locker room, in that setting, in a professional setting,
Yeah.
if you come to work every day, lunch pail type guy,
Work your ass
come
off, you're
in,
gonna be
work
all
your
right.
ass off, do what you need to do, and then maybe then some. You get your stuff done,
No doubt.
no problem, man.
Kind of what Gruden
Go
said.
do what you want to do,
Gruden-
right? What you
Gruden
do on
said
your
that-
time, man. That's as a professional, of course.
Yep.
You don't need to be Frank Clark getting caught with an Uzi. Did we all
Yeah,
see
that
that?
was crazy.
Come on,
What do
man.
you need an Uzi for, man?
I don't. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute,
Who's gonna
man.
try
We'll
to
talk
do
about
something
that.
to Frank,
Right?
bro?
Like who's coming
He's
after? Like
huge.
Frank, who's coming after you?
He was in a
Didn't
Lambo.
he had problems in college. And
This is the second time in the last couple months that he's
Yeah.
gotten caught with a
Really?
firearm. But
he
we'll
got kicked out of
we'll touch on
Michigan
that. We'll touch on that in a second.
Yeah,
but
Connor Stallions, buddy.
but back to I know. But back to Carl. I think the NFL has been ready. I don't want to say has been ready like they've been preparing for this or anything because that sounds really weird. But I think if any league could take this on right now, I feel like it's the NFL for some reason. We're talking about baseball. And you have to also think about the target audience for baseball. Baseball's audience is a little bit older, on the older side, America's pastime,
No doubt.
things like that. I feel like baseball fans have a much more direct impact on the game because you're usually
They're screaming
closer.
stuff the whole game.
Exactly. The game's typically a little bit more quiet. You can hear a lot of people. You know, and
they're still giving Houston crap about cheating, and that was
100%.
3 years ago.
Yeah, no
baseball
doubt.
fans do not forget, bro. They
No
be
doubt.
banging trash cans and
They
doing
do
all
not
that.
forget.
You see, there was some teenager who calls over Bregman. He was like, "Hey, can I get an autograph? Can I get an autograph?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Psych, I don't want your bum ass autograph."
That's ruthless.
It was brutal. He's
That's
sitting there recording
ruthless.
the whole time, bro.
That's funny.
Bregman's face was, but baseball fans are just different like that.
Yeah,
So
they
and that's just one example. You know, I don't know about the situation of like a hockey or basketball or other things, but I feel like football is just kind of for the reason, like we said, just show up, work,
Yep.
and just take care of your business.
Yep.
I feel like football is ready for this type of thing, but you know, there's the obvious things of like, I don't know, there's just like locker room type things, like, but between the three of us, I don't think we had any, you know, people in the LGBTQ community in our locker room in high school. I'm not sure. Though.
Not that I know of. Not
think
that we're at least
Exactly.
comfortable enough.
nobody that was
to
comfortable
let
enough
us
to come
know.
out, right?
Yeah.
But for me, though, I mean, I have, you know, I wouldn't say I have like a lot of, you know, friends that are in that community, but I have a few people that I know that are part of that community. And like, if we have people on our football team, it's not like we're going to treat them differently. It's not like, you know what I mean? And that's something
That has
that
nothing to do with it.
I feel like is really important because, especially for a guy like Carl, who obviously is an elite athlete playing at the highest level in the NFL,
Yep.
I just don't see how he'd be treated any differently. Now, the thing is, he's going to be put on the magnifying glass this season,
No doubt.
for whether he likes it or not.
No doubt.
Now,
It's the media.
a couple other things to talk about regarding Carl. I didn't want to talk about his head coach, John Gruden. And we talked about baseball. Baseball fans are a lot of the old whites. John Gruden kind of fits into that category. I don't know if he's a baseball fan or not. But Gruden did come out in support of Carl. He said, quote, "I learned a long time ago what makes a man different is what makes him great." That's what Gruden said. Now, he didn't come out and said, you know, "I love gay people." You know, and he didn't say anything super crazy.
But
who
Exactly.
expected him to?
Exactly.
Who expected him
That's
to?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think some people were calling for a little bit more of a direct endorsement of Carl, which I guess is understand. I understand their perspective as well. But for Gruden, I think any endorsement is great from him. From a guy that we don't know where he stands on the topic.
That's probably off Carl's shoulders now that Gruden said that. That's a little weight off his shoulders.
Now, I was wondering, do you think that'd be something that he would tell him before he released that? Like, you know, like, Coach, kind of give him a little heads up, like, "Coach, I'm going to, you know, do this," and there's going to be probably a lot of
I'm sure it depends on their relationship. I'm
true.
sure there's a lot of guys that wouldn't on a team, and I'm sure there are some guys that are comfortable.
because it is
enough.
only his second year with the Raiders, so we don't know
no
what that
doubt.
relationship with Gruden
No
is
doubt.
like.
And when it comes to the NFL, that's your life at that point. So your coach, if you have a good relationship with him, it's a real good relationship. You should be comfortable to talk.
He's
to
only
him about a lot of
28
stuff.
too. I wanted to add that too. So he's still got a good bit of his career left. It seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, going into his 6th year already.
Sixth
but
year, that's impressive.
Still, I think 28 years old. You still at that position. He's got a good bit of a career ahead of him. But for Gruden, like I said, I get like that was just saying like if something were like to happen. Obviously, Carl knew a lot of attention would come out of this.
Yeah, no doubt.
And not that he, like you said, he didn't want it. He literally said, "I just wanted to take a quick moment to say I'm gay."
Yeah.
That's literally the quote right in front of me
gets
here.
blown up. Of
And
course
and
it
of
does.
course, so he knows that. So I'd be interested to see if he gave Gruden a heads up, like, "Hey, Coach, not just don't want to blindside
Or
you."
maybe a couple buddies on the team.
Yeah,
or
exactly,
something like
exactly.
That,
And I'm sure a few of them probably knew before he did that. But I would imagine the majority of them had no idea,
yeah. I
and they probably learned with the rest of
agree.
us.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that I would assume he got a lot of like good support and text messages and things of that
sure he
nature
did.
from a lot of the
Got a lot of
guys.
tweets at him.
Yeah,
I saw
exactly.
a lot of tweets.
A lot of people came out and showed their support. But also, the other big part of his statement I wanted to find is that he was donating to the Trevor Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
So the Trevor Project, excuse me. Trevor Project is a nonprofit organization that is focused on suicide prevention efforts among the LGBTQ community. So he donated, I believe it was $100,000, correct?
Yes.
So he donated $100,000, which it kind of seems like he might be making that back because his jersey is the #1 selling jersey right now.
I saw that. That's
So
pretty crazy.
I don't know what the percentage of like their earnings they get from those types, but they get a
Gotta
piece
be
of the
something.
cheddar,
Oh,
right?
most
They
definitely.
get
Most
something.
Nice little chunk of change.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
he'll
sure.
be making some of that back, no problem. Not that that was his goal from the beginning. But Nassib wrote that, or he said in a written message after the video that he agonized over this moment for the last 15 years.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
He's 28.
He's 28.
13
so
years
he's
old.
13 years old, and he couldn't decide when to do that. And that's how long it took for him to come out and, finally get the courage to.
I didn't know that before.
Yeah, neither did I.
Good for him.
So I was just reading that, and that's, obviously 13 years old. I mean, obviously, I'm sure he was an insane athlete in high school, and everything. That's just getting into high school.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Right?
That's pretty. Those are
so
some
going
of
through
biggest years.
High school, middle school was hell in the first place. Imagine
Yeah.
imagine if something like that sitting on your chest. Going through high school, then obviously, I don't know where he played college football, but at a big time program, I'm assuming, right? And I won't say nobody, but having very few people probably know that besides your inner circle.
And it wasn't as accepted as it is now either.
No, it is not. Now
15 years ago was a totally different story than it is now, especially without the media.
Yeah,
without
100%.
everything else.
So he did donate $100,000 to the Trevor Project. Then that's seeking to prevent suicides among LGBTQ youth. Commissioner Roger Goodell, we'll finish on this. Commissioner Roger Goodell made a statement. He said the NFL family is proud of Carl for courageously sharing his truth today. Awesome. Representation matters. We share his hope that someday soon statements like this will no longer be newsworthy as we march towards full equality for the LGBTQ plus community. We wish Carl the best of luck this coming season.
That's cool.
That was the one thing that I was
sweet.
like, it came up on my phone. It was like ESPN, it said breaking news, like Carl Nassib says he's gay.
And you're like, who?
I'm like, well, I knew who he was. I was like,
oh, you did? I didn't know.
Why does this have to be breaking news?
That's true. That's a
Like,
great
maybe
point.
because he's the first person.
Yeah, I think
First
that's
active.
why it
But I
is.
was
First
like,
active.
That's kind of what I was talking about earlier with the domino effect. I think there will be a point in time in the next coming years where it won't be breaking news
It's like
anymore.
every time it increasingly becomes more
Yes.
common and common
Yes.
before it becomes commonplace.
And it should be. And that's what the ultimate goal is.
Agreed.
Is to make it normal.
Yeah. So, like you said, it'll be interesting to see because I would find it hard to believe that, you know what I mean? That there's not any other players in the NFL that are part of that LGBTQ plus community. So, it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of months if anybody else is.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Has that courage to come out and do that. But I did want to let's touch on Frank Clark. So he gets caught it was in LA, I believe. And yeah, here we go. Arrested in LA on suspicion of having concealed gun in vehicle. This is June 21st, so 3 days ago, recording this on Thursday the 24th. He was arrested in Los Angeles after police saw a submachine gun in his car. He's 28 as well, by the way. But
In his car.
the story was, and I was listening to this on some podcast, that he was pulled over for some type of minor traffic violation, as you do,
Speed,
right?
whatever it is.
And so the police officer comes up, and he sees a submachine gun sticking out of his bag.
Well, there's your first mistake.
You cannot
You got a
be-
zipper for a reason, man.
Dude, I mean, like, you feel bad for some. Like, I don't know if you necessarily
I don't
feel
feel
bad,
bad.
but like, I know you don't feel bad
That's
at all
awful.
because that's ridiculously
He's making
stupid.
millions and he's doing stuff
That's
like that.
ridiculously stupid.
Yes.
So he said the officers noticed a bag. This is an article from ESPN. Officers noticed a bag with an Uzi sticking out in plain sight in the car. Like, are you joking?
No tints either. Come on, man. Come on, man.
$35,000 bond, according to their website, and then the NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy had to make a statement, and the attorney's claiming that the gun belonged to Clark's bodyguard.
Right.
I don't know, was he in
I
the
didn't
vehicle?
even know it was
I
legal
don't
He needs a
know.
bodyguard?
I didn't
say,
know it was
who
legal
does he
to
need?
have an Uzi.
Right? At all. Even for a
That's what I'm
bodyguard,
saying.
bro.
I didn't even-
That's like
Well,
that's an automatic weapon.
Frank Clark is like ginormous. So I
Yeah, I'm
doesn't
saying,
need
who
He
does
is a
he need a
bodyguard.
bodyguard?
He's
Who
the
does he-
bodyguard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez, man.
That's pretty insane.
Why does
though.
his bodyguard need an Uzi?
That right? Who's
gonna-
coming after him? The Avengers? The hell? But Clark, I'm trying to think. So that was the second offense that he's had just in the last couple months involving firearms. So obviously this is something that's gone on for a
Was it
while.
his bodyguards the first time?
I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that part. Maybe he.
Imagine
I don't,
being the cop that has to arrest him.
right.
Yeah, man. You just better
Hopefully,
hope.
he,
Alright,
hopefully he
you're-
cooperates,
It just
man.
better
Good luck
hope
trying to
so.
wrestle
No,
this dude.
you're
I am
arrested
not arrested. Yeah, you can be like, here, take my cuffs.
He was actually arrested in 2014 as well on suspicion of domestic violence over an incident at an Ohio hotel, leading to his removal from the University of Michigan.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah. So that was obviously a while ago. That's what now it's 7 years.
years.
Buddy gets
So-
angry.
Yeah. So he eventually pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of disorderly conduct. So obviously,
Okay.
hopefully that didn't end up happening. Hopefully, nothing serious came of that. But Frank Clark, dude, Get your act together.
What a
It's
character.
time.
Right?
You've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 2 years. It's time.
He's got to get his act together because he was a contributor on that defense.
Oh, no doubt.
yeah.
He had
like-
the final sack in both of the, what were they? The
What?
final sack in
Super
the
Bowl?
game-sealing drive or something. In
Oh,
the,
yeah. I
In
know
the
what you're
game
talking
before
about.
the Super Bowl or something like that, both years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a big piece.
Oh, yeah, here we go. It says it was pulled over for a vehicle violation. I'm sure it was like a blinker was probably out or something stupid. Something super
License
minimal.
plates,
Right? Yeah.
outdated.
Dates are, let me see those plates. Wait a minute. You got what you got the Mac 10 in the back for? What are you who's after you,
Draco.
Frank Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
so
after you?
that's what makes me think though, like if somebody feels the need to have that on them, I don't know if the bodyguard was in the car. The article doesn't say, but like if somebody feels the need, first of all, to have a bodyguard.
Yeah.
Second of all, to arm them with an automatic weapon.
That's
You gotta. There's more to that story.
yeah, I agree. And
And we
we'll
probably
never know.
won't. I'm saying we're never
won't
gonna
know.
find out. But like there's gonna be a ton of eyes on
makes
him
you
now.
think.
There's gonna be a ton of eyes on
Oh,
him
no
now.
doubt.
So
No doubt.
it'll be
You heard it here first. Conspiracies with Division One
Conspiracies.
rejects.
About Frank Clark.
But
What do you think his punishment's going to be?
that's a good question. Okay. Oh, I want to touch on that too. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
I believe that the fact they're claiming it was his bodyguards might actually give him a loophole, but possession of a firearm like that is a felony.
Oh, it's big.
So
But you know how it
when I
works
say
in the
felony,
NFL.
like in the
You know how it works in
contracts
the
and
NFL.
all the shit they have in those contracts, I'm not talking like, oh, maybe he gets suspended again. He could be dropped.
Yeah.
And like go literally just be
Contract
thrown into
void.
jail. Yeah, he could be thrown into jail. So this is big. Hopefully they can figure that out and resolve that, and he gets back to doing what he does best, which is taking down quarterbacks.
Yep.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I think that the attorney claiming it was his bodyguards, that might allow for some loopholes
I
there.
agree.
Now if they go and find some prints on them, then
I was just playing with it.
I don't know.
I was just touching it.
I was taking a pic for the gram. You know what I'm saying? It was on safety. Like clip was empty. You know,
No clip
it was
was
empty. Yeah, but
I only pointed to that one person.
oh, the cameraman. But no, hopefully that's the case, and it wasn't something like it was actually his possession, because like I said, I'm sure that's a
Unneeded.
felony. I don't know what the state's legislation is, but at the federal
Unneeded.
level, yeah.
If you got
like-
a bodyguard, you have a bodyguard. There's
Right?
no reason for you to have a gun if you have a
No, there is
bodyguard.
not, dude. That's the whole point of the bodyguard. But let's see here. I wanted to talk about Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford. This
Hype.
dude is so high on Matthew Stafford.
Hype
Like
time.
it's unreal.
Yeah.
And so the thing for me, watching how this has kind of played out, is that it seems now Jared Goff is obviously much less outspoken than Sean McVay has been in the media the last couple months, but it seems like that breakup has been mutually beneficial. And
agree.
like there was a lot of stuff that people didn't realize, that those two's relationship was not as good
I
as it
wouldn't like
seemed
Jared
on the
either. He's
outside.
awful. I wouldn't like him either.
He was playing with 9 fingers.
Yeah, well.
9 fingers.
Why did
He had a
get-
broken thumb.
Oh, did he?
He did it last year.
Was it throwing hand?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But they didn't do anything, so it's not that impressive.
No, he
so.
didn't. But I just think I go back to every time somebody trashes Jared Goff, and I understand that they have arguably the best defense in the NFL. He was in a Super Bowl, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And I don't care how good your defense is, your offense needs to score points in order to win games,
I agree.
especially at that level.
I agree.
Eventually, they did not.
Unless it's West
In the
Bloomfield,
Super Bowl.
In the
Clarkston.
Super Bowl, they did
In the
not.
Super Bowl, they didn't perform well.
Unless
But
it's West Bloomfield and Clarkston, he went 32.
Jesus, I remember watching that game, dude. But for me, whenever somebody talks about Jared Goff and I start hearing the slander, that's the one thing I pull up immediately. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm by no means out here trying to defend Jared Goff,
Yeah.
and like I'm no like slappy for Jared Goff. I've never seen him play for the Lions yet. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But Blaze knows I've been drinking the Kool-Aid and I'm ready for this season. Like I'm really excited.
Are you?
Yeah, Sean McVay says
So let me-
Matthew Stafford should be eyeing the Lombardi Trophy.
Oh.
He should?
I'm not going to say anything
I feel like
about
you
it.
should be too. But I feel like
Are they
it's not
not?
really
Like-
something that you should.
Why is he saying it?
Yeah,
like
you shouldn't
Matt
say it.
Stafford is
Just
not
not.
on the same team as him.
Yeah.
No, what are you talking
No,
about?
McVay. McVay said that.
Said it to
Yeah.
Stafford.
What are you talking about?
Stafford's on the Rams, bro.
I know. He said Stafford should eye the trophy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they all eye the trophy?
Well, I mean,
Shouldn't the LA Rams
Yeah.
It ain't an
Yeah.
individual. Yeah, it ain't an
Yeah.
individual trophy. You're right. You're kind of right. But and it's just it's just interesting for me because this guy is like so high on Stafford. He says, quote, like he's a bad MFer, like the other day, right?
Yeah.
And that quote went out all over Twitter.
he really is, though.
He
He
100%
proved that
he
in
is.
Detroit, too. A couple of those games, his toughness.
Dude,
man,
100%. A
off
lot
the
of those
charts.
games. But
Off the charts.
As soon as he leaves, now he gets his credit.
yeah, that's what I'm really afraid of is now, like, I shouldn't be afraid of, but like people all of a sudden are now just going to be like, man, Matthew Stafford's going to be the Sports Center thing. Like when Mahomes makes one of those little sidearm throws or whatever, that's going to be the Matthew Stafford.
This year. Because he got traded. Because he's not on Detroit.
Because he's in the situation that is much better for
That's
him.
like people don't know, like, everybody's been saying this for so long. Like
we've been watching Stafford do it for years now.
He does this.
Yes. We've been watching him do it for years.
He does
and
this.
even you have guys like Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. They're talking about the little, like, those nice different angle passes and things like that. He's talking about Holmes, and then he's talking about you, Aaron, blah, blah. And Aaron responded to Pat, and he was like, there's this dude in Detroit that's been doing that a lot longer than anybody else. Yeah. And they're like, they made a big deal out of it, whatever. Yeah. But I just, I think it'll be really interesting. Another thing, though, is that that's why I'm really happy about the change in culture for the Lions, because it's so bad. It's like, it's happy and sad, kind of a mix when you see guys leave the Lions and just have so much more fun with the game. Yeah. And Stafford is a prime example of that. We see the picture of him like styling and smiling and these pictures on the gram and stuff like that. Carry-on. He got picked up by the Eagles, right? And so there was a picture. We talked about this a little bit. There's a picture posted on Twitter, and he's like just big old smile on his face, whatever. And one of his teammates, it's not Aguilar because he's on the Patriots.
I forget who it was,
but it was Fulgham.
Maybe
Fulgham. Yeah. Fulgham. But he quoted a tweet. It was like, "Hey, like, what are you cheesing for at Carry-On, whatever?" And he was like, Carry-On replied, he was like, "Hey, I ain't used to having fun at practice." Like, he said something along those lines.
That's pretty crazy.
He should have just at Matt Patricia, dude. Because, dude, like that.
I feel like Patricia at? Is he back in New England?
He's back in New England, dude.
As a coordinator or no?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he was like an assistant
no, because he's part of like the business side of their organization. But the last I heard, he was the guy that signed off on like the contracts and everything, and like and those kind of the more on the draft picks and trades and all of that. So
more in the office.
I feel like
I don't know why they took his ass back.
I feel like when Stafford was here, it was like he was like going like down. It was like, oh, he's got to. Yeah. You should draft a quarterback. Matt Stafford's only got 2 or 3 left. Now it's like his career has been reborn. Yeah. It's like Matt Stafford's going for the Super Bowl.
That's what it feels like,
especially as a quarterback. Yeah, quarterbacks can do that.
Everybody forgets how old he is. Like, how old is he? Going for the Super Bowl.
Is he like 30? He's like mid-30s.
He's got to be like 34.
I want to say low to mid-30s.
He's kind of getting there.
You got him in 08.
100%.
He's not young.
13 years.
By no means is he young, and he's been through his fair share of injuries. That back one, like last year or 2 years ago, was pretty significant. The hand was a problem. He's had some other things, shoulder and like rotator cuff.
His whole body was broken this season.
And he's still playing.
He's still playing. That's the thing, dude. Yeah. And it's just that offense. That offense is scary.
Detroit
because
or the Rams?
No, the Rams. Detroit's offense is definitely not scary.
I don't even know our strengths.
They might surprise some people, but I don't think they're scary.
They're not scary.
The Rams offense, though, is scary.
Yes.
I really just between
and that's not even what they're known for.
Exactly. Exactly. Because their defense is what they're known for. But for me, like this. The outside targets for Stafford, but Cam Akers in the backfield is gonna. He had a great year last year as a rookie season,
and he didn't play until what week?
Like he didn't start immediately. I don't know if it was that late.
I don't know how late it is.
I know he definitely didn't start. No, he didn't. That Malcolm Brown, I think.
Exactly. But he came in rookie year.
Henderson or whatever.
Yeah,
he was nice. But let's see this. I want to say. Okay, right here, the Rams averaged 23.3 points per game last year.
That's not too bad, though.
22nd in the league. Ooh. That's kind of surprising.
Maybe it is.
At 22 points per game, that's 22nd in the league out of 32 teams. A
lot of offense. How much did they, what did
take that,
give up?
Let's see.
They were probably top 10, top 5.
Was 2019 – oh, wait, hold on. What year in the Super Bowl? Was it 2017?
Yeah. 2017, 2018.
Is it 18?
It's like February of 18.
Oh, okay. Maybe. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because when you take that, I'm kind of surprised by that number. I wouldn't have think they would have scored 23 point whatever per game.
I wouldn't.
And I'm surprised it's that low. The NFL has kind of gone to that.
Jared Goff he missed those couple games and they had those backups.
That's very true. That's very true.
So who do they have running out there at receiver besides?
Well, they have what's his name?
Woods Cup.
Didn't they get?
They have Brandon Cooks.
They did.
They got. Didn't they get one of the Lions guys? I thought they got one of the Lions guys over there.
I feel like they just had a trade or something. Not Stafford, obviously, like a tight end or something like that. Is Everett there?
Yeah.
Is that it?
They got Higbee,
and Everett.
There's one other guy too.
Higbee and Everett. Cooper Kupp still there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. How old is he?
I don't know.
He's pretty
right
young.
There.
Yeah, there's Cooper Kupp. Yeah, Cooper Kupp's younger. Deshaun Jackson.
Oh,
what?
Yeah,
deep ball.
Pick him up.
He got dropped from the Eagles. He's got to be close to 40.
He's getting up there.
Mark Clayton, Josh Reynolds,
Josh Reynolds. Yeah, he's good.
Is he?
I remember Reynolds.
So it'll be
late pickup in fantasy.
But the thing is, like, Stafford will make those guys, look really good.
I agree.
He'll make them look really good. So if they have some athletes out there, and that's the thing too, is like the ability for him to be able to control drives and not worry about just giving the ball over and like, if we give this over right now, they're gonna drive and score.
Yeah,
so
that's gonna be a relief.
Remember, did you see that stat that was like he won like 75 games with the Lions and like 38 of them were comebacks.
Yeah, isn't that bad?
Fourth quarter game.
So part of me is like, yes, it'd be such an advantage to not have to play with your back against the wall.
Yep.
But I also think there's a small part of me that thinks that's when Stafford plays his best football. Is when he has no alternative.
He's a true competitor.
Exactly.
He
and
really
I think that's how
win.
real pure competitors when they play their best is when they're backed into a corner and they have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So part of me thinks, but then again, it's like you're a professional football player. You're a player to the caliber of Matt Stafford.
I'll counter that by saying, when has he ever been in other position besides doing that with his back to the wall? He's always had his back to the wall. And
Mahomes ×2.
Yeah. We have no idea.
Conspiracy theory?
We have 60 touchdown passes.
We have no idea,
coming
man.
up.
We have no idea, but that's for me is
Peyton Manning's record is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
What is it?
As a
55?
Didn't Drew broke that, I thought.
Did he?
I thought Drew broke that. Breeze.
Breeze.
Bledsoe.
60. I was
going to say Bledsoe?
Yeah, I was going to say that's way before.
No, Breeze is gone now, but I'm pretty sure he broke that because Peyton posted some video of him like cutting a cake or something. He broke one of his records.
A record this year.
He broke one of his records. It wasn't this year, it was a couple years ago. But I'd be interested to see what that
55.
is. 55.
Peyton Manning.
It is Peyton Manning still?
Yeah.
He must have broken a
Breeze
career
broke
record
yards
or something.
record or something like that, or career touchdowns. Yeah.
Career touchdowns, maybe that's it.
Who else broke some records this year? There was somebody.
Justin Herbert set a record for touchdowns by a rookie, I think, or something like that. Right?
Yeah,
like I want to say so.
Or something like
was it seriously?
Yeah.
Holy cow, dude!
That's impressive.
Oh, that'll be an interesting team. The Chargers.
Yeah. What do you guys? Keenan Allen.
What happened to the?
He's good,
not
he's
Keenan Allen guy.
What happened to the different divisions by week?
Oh yeah, we can touch on one if you want. But I want to wrap up the Stafford talk.
Right now,
we can wrap up the Stafford talk though. Are they winning that division? So you have Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, 49ers. Best division in football.
I'm going to be optimistic and say yes.
Yeah.
That's not a really, really confident yes though.
I'm going to say I'll say yeah. I don't see Seattle having enough.
Seattle's the only chance, but they've lost some pieces.
Arizona.
Seattle's the only chance?
Yeah.
Arizona.
You don't think the 49ers have a chance?
49ers do not have a chance.
Do you know how many players were hurt out last year for the 49ers?
I had Kittle on my fantasy team. It sucked.
Kittle sucked. Jimmy G. They also just drafted that young quarterback.
I don't think Jimmy G is going to be as good as he was
Bosa's coming back. Mostert. Mostert's coming back.
End of the year, though?
No, beginning of the year. He got hurt right around when Saquon got hurt. Receivers for the 49ers, they got Deebo Samuel.
He got hurt.
He got hurt, so he's coming back. Deebo Samuel,
Ayuk,
he's good.
Brandon
Ayuk from Arizona State.
He can play.
Dude, I'm telling you, 49ers getting slept on.
Maybe.
I got them second in the division. I think Seahawks have a down year, bro.
Whole division makes
the
playoffs.
Seahawks really showed that at the end of the year.
Whole
this
division
year.
makes playoffs.
The wild card is the Cardinals, obviously, because they have all the names on paper, but Kingsbury just can't put shit together.
What do you guys think about Kyler?
Kyler Murray?
Mm-hmm.
He's a gamer, bro, but it's just he hasn't been consistent enough. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a lot of his coaching too.
Rookie year, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to be coaching too.
Too many games, but
last year was his second year.
Yeah. Oh wait, last year.
Yeah.
What was their record last year?
Because the start of the rookie year was when we tied them, right? It was a season opener.
Fighting for a wild card at one point.
Yeah,
they were tight.
They lost some games at the end that they should.
Weren't they our season opener? His rookie year, we tied them
both years.
Yeah.
Was it both years?
Yeah, we tied and then we won.
All right. Well, we'll transition and talk a little bit of NBA talk to finish off the pod. The National Basketball Association.
Big stuff. Getting down to the wire.
We don't usually talk a lot of NBA, but I've actually been following a good amount of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to talk about it a little bit. We're in the finals, the conference finals right now. So we're talking, this would be Suns are the East? West. That's what's my second option, actually. I get that mixed up.
LA.
Yeah, that's true. I probably should have looked at that. Phoenix kind of is out there too. Suns up 2-0, obviously, because Suns in 4. That video was hilarious. The dude was trying to get he went on Part of My Take. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
So Part of My Take got him on there.
Okay.
And he was like, Big Cat asked him, he's like, so what are you going to try and reach out and get some tickets to the game? They didn't end up giving him tickets. Booker signed a jersey, gave it to him. But he goes like, yeah, I'm going to try and, go out. All I want to do is go out and shoot around with the boys before the game. Like, bro, what?
That's awesome.
Who do you think you are?
That's exactly what I would have guessed he would have said after he did that.
You reach, bro. Reach for it because the worst thing I can say is no. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Dude, he's a legend in that stadium.
Suns are up. Yeah, dude, they were lining up to take selfies with that guy.
I love him.
See the guy that made a little action figure of him.
What? You did? I did see that. I did see that. If you have not seen the video, I'm going to throw it up right now. This dude... There's 2 Nuggets fans, right? Mm-hmm. It was the Nuggets. So that was a couple rounds ago.
Last round,
It was just the last round? Mm-hmm. It was just last round. So 2 Nuggets fans, and they're just chirping him or whatever, and they finally get in his face, and he's just, defending himself.
No, but then put a beer on his head.
Exactly, because they piss him off, and then he starts defending himself, saying, so he didn't instigate.
No, not at all.
Right? And and they're just jawing, having fun, whatever, before. But that happens, and then I love later in the video, and he is just holding this dude down, talking to the other dude and just suckering this dude in the mouth. Like, shut up, boom. Go back home, boom. In this dude's face. And the other guy's just sitting there just trying to defend himself. He's got his arms over his head.
Taking it.
It was
and then
brutal.
He scurries out. Down. Doesn't let anybody see him on the way out.
I saw, too, that the guy who... I didn't plan on talking about this much, but the guy who lost the fight, the Nuggets fan, got an interview with
I did see that.
Or some shit.
I did see that. Why?
Who wants to hear your side of the story? Who invited him in there?
They probably got some views, but...
100%.
Sit down with him like, you got beat up.
He was trying to spin it. Dude, he was trying to spin it like he didn't.
Yeah.
Like he ain't lose.
Sorry, buddy, it's viral.
I'm saying, you
but
can't...
not for a good reason.
It's a little late to change the narrative on that.
No.
You can't do that.
Everybody knows what actually happened.
Interviewing the Adams kid that you mossed.
Something like that.
Yeah, we saw that clip if you're watching on YouTube at the beginning of the show. But Suns, Chris Paul... officially available for Game 3 versus the Clippers.
Tonight, yeah.
Is it actually? It's going to be Suns in 4. Is that the consensus?
Suns in 4.
Suns in 4. Always.
I mean, Clipper wise, we saw PG.
Kawhi's out.
PG missed those 2 free throws late, dude.
I had money on him too. He needed to have 30 points. He had 28 and then missed the 2 free throws. Man, he had to be out of my seat.
Here's my one reason why the Clippers won't win.
Playoff P?
No, not playoff.
There's no
Reggie
playoff
Jackson.
Exactly.
Reggie Jackson.
Get out of here.
He's their starting point guard.
He has to. That's more than enough reason to lose.
Reggie Jackson belongs in the finals.
Not in the finals, but he's been playing really well.
Has he?
He has. He's stepped up. And he's shooting the ball well right now.
He's got some weird goggle headband combo.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah. Arm sleeve.
Paul George has been notorious for kind of choking in the playoffs and kind of big moments. I mean, he's had his fair share of some game winners and stuff, especially in Indiana. But
no, he can hoop
in the playoffs.
He's
never. It's true. That's true. He gets them there, but he has just not been able to capitalize on a lot of moments. And I kind of thought we had gotten away from that because he had played very well. He played a great game
last night. He had
how many points?
I think it was 15 points in a row in the fourth quarter.
I was gonna say because
the Clippers, and then he gets 2 free throws and misses them to lose the game.
Because he had at least, I think he had over 40. Did he have 30 or 40?
He had no, he had 28.
I thought he had more than that.
Because I needed him to have 30.
Oh, you just said that. Yeah, that's on me. I thought he had at least 30
before the free throws, got to give him credit. He made the shot to put him up.
No, he had that little Euro, too.
Yeah.
Then put it in.
So then how about the lob to Ayton from, was it Crowder?
No, it was Trey, yeah. Oh, wait, to Ayton. Yeah, it was Crowder.
It was Crowder, right?
Out of bounds,
yeah. So.
The value.
2 things. The value, legendary name, by the way. Whoever came up with that, that's dope. That's got to go on a shirt.
I mean, there's jerseys already say the Valley.
That's sick. So now you have 2. You got 2 potential great shirts here. Great merchandise options. Suns in 4. That's gonna sell out. You already know. Especially if they have finals. I'd pick one up.
No doubt.
Valley Oop with a little picture of Ayton going up. Come on, that would sell like crazy too.
Who was it that wore a T-shirt to their press conference after the game with them dunking on Embiid?
That was John Collins.
John Collins.
Are you serious? I did not see that.
Dunked on Embiid 2 nights before and got a shirt made and wore it to his press conference after with him dunking on Embiid.
That is sick.
He's been hooping, man.
He's been dunking on everybody.
So on the Suns though, 2 things I wanted to touch on. First of all, if you're the Clippers and there was it like 0.8 seconds or something really minimal?
It was 0.8.
Was it 0.8? 0.89. So. I mean, technically, you have time to get a regulation shot off. It has to be very quick, right? I think it's like 3 or 4 tenths of a second you actually need to get a shot off.
Catch and shoot.
Exactly.
It's like 0.4.
But when there's anything under a second, I would feel like you have to assume that they're going to try and throw it up because I feel like that seems like the most obvious play. dude can jump out of the gym, and he's been playing insane basketball.
Yeah.
You know, he's shooting like 70% from the floor.
I believe it.
Because he shoots everything in the paint.
Well, no doubt, yeah.
So
he was #1 pick, right?
Aiton? I don't think so.
He was.
I don't think so.
He passed Luka, and they were like,
no, he was.
No, I don't think he was.
No.
Here, look that up and see what pick he was. I don't remember him being number one.
I'm a stats guy.
You are the stats guy. But okay, that was one thing is that I feel like the Clippers should have been expecting that a lot. Maybe they were all over Booker, which I get.
DeMarcus Cousins, they were talking about this after.
So I want to talk about that in a second.
Yeah,
hold on to that thought though.
Yeah.
But the other thing was that the guy guarding the inbound on Crowder.
That's DeMarcus Cousins.
So okay, but
yeah,
but you're talking about the push afterwards, right?
No.
Oh, you weren't talking about
his
that.
positioning.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
He was straight up faced with Jay Crowder.
Not facing the basket.
Not guarding the basket.
Exactly, not guarding the basket.
He should have had an angle to him to guard the basket, make the inbounds pass.
That was something too. That made
Crowder
zero sense.
Looked him off one way and had a free shot
as he should
to the hoop.
That pass though,
it was a perfect.
Oh,
pass.
100%.
He almost
perfect
made it in the basket.
Right,
perfect
basically.
pass.
Right. So what pick was Aiton?
He was #1.
He was #1 overall.
What year?
2018.
In Luka's draft.
Luka
and Trey and
Bagley, Luka, Jaren Jackson, Trae Young.
Damn.
Top 5.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. But yeah, that's what I wanted to. I want to talk about something else with Boogie, but that was one thing. I didn't know he was on the inbound.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was
he
him.
was the one guarding the inbound.
So yeah, he wasn't. So he was facing like if I'm on you, I'm straight up
squared to him. Yeah,
instead of angled towards the basket, so I could actually get my hand in that lane. So that's why I said that I don't think the Clippers were actually expecting them to do something like that.
No, I don't either. But they should have been. I think
that's some middle school shit.
I would take a corner.
You know how many assistant coaches they have on that stupid bench?
There's Devin Booker you got to worry about.
I know, and I'm sure they were all over his ass. But
I agree. But the only thing he's given up.
He set the screen for 8.
He did.
Yeah,
he set the screen. Yeah,
he did.
He's in the paint.
It's bold of the coach. It's a good call.
It makes sense.
Booker's the man you're watching for. You're not going to help off of Booker.
You know how many little assistant coaches and other people they got in the years over there on the bench? Yeah. Not one guy was like, hey, maybe we should take the guy and turn him towards the basket. Like,
you're going to give up a fadeaway corner 3 any day of the week.
I know.
Before a oop to the middle of the basket.
Where do you want them to shoot it from? That's where you should have asked yourself.
Book's the only one they'd probably feel confident in taking that too.
The other thing was that basket had to get officially like verified, right? So the game was like over, and I use air quotes if you're not watching on the YouTube version of the pod, but the game was over, but they had to like go and verify the basket before it was actually finalized.
It wasn't finalized after that play.
I don't believe so.
There was still 0.4 seconds after that play.
Exactly.
Something like that. The oops so fast.
Because it was so quick.
He put it in, and then the buzzer went off. And then they were like,
but then they had to like go back. There should So the game was not. They were acting and celebrating like it was over, but it wasn't really over.
Yes.
Then DeMarcus Cousins comes out, gives Booker a nice little shove at like half court.
Yep.
And then then was the game? I think it was over after that, or what? I believe
what was the final play? Did they try to throw something?
They threw it down court to.
So there was
Paul George,
and it was too late.
Yeah.
So there was that little. So what I don't understand is that the game was not over, right? Even though they were acting like it was.
Yes.
That would have obviously been like a flagrant foul or some shit if that was in the game.
Yeah.
And they were on the court still.
I agree.
But that didn't carry over.
No.
They did dude, it took like 30 minutes for them.
I know what you're talking about. When they were walking back to
the last 2 minutes of the game took like 24 actual minutes.
They tried to like sub people out, but you can't. So then they had to get everybody back in who was in.
So that's what I was just talking about. Like, but for the DeMarcus Cousins thing, if you foul somebody, you foul. Yeah, the game kept going.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm assuming they were in the bonus at that point.
Yeah.
So that would have been a free throw opportunity for them to seriously ice it.
No, well, to ice it. You're saying just end it. Like, you don't even have a chance. Yeah, okay,
exactly.
Yes,
exactly. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And it's moments like that that usually end up changing rules in the future.
I agree.
Weird, obscure moments that even the bookiest rule keepers don't think of.
There was something that they're looking to change. So when you're playing defense on somebody and you pick
the out of bounds thing,
pick their pocket. If you pick their pocket, 9 times out of 10, that ball is going to roll off the person's hand dribbling it. But the force of you hitting the ball out of bounds is what should be ruled their ball still.
Yeah.
But technically, when you swipe and hit the ball,
touches their
a lot
hand,
of times it rolls out of their hand.
That was it was on Booker, I believe, right?
No, it was the
Bev on.
It was the Hawks game.
Oh, was it?
I think it was the Hawks. No, it might have been the same.
I think it happened.
It was the same game.
I think it happened with Booker and it might have been Bev. Yeah, it might have been Beverly.
You guys see him slap PG in the head? He high-fived him in the head.
He's a clown, bro. Yeah, Bev's a clown. He's the type of dude I would hate to play with.
Oh, no doubt.
Devin Booker's nose is like this wide.
His nose is
mangled. Mangled.
It's bad.
He's gonna be masked up tonight.
Oh, is he?
No way.
Is he?
That's gonna be legendary.
That would
be
sweet.
I saw some people say like first it was Rip, and then it was Kobe and LeBron.
And now it's D-Book.
Yeah.
And he's broken the curse. We should mention he's broken the curse of being able to date a Kardashian and actually win meaningful basketball games.
I agree.
Ben Simmons.
They might leave him soon.
Ben Simmons is a scrub. All right?
Anyway, hold on. Let me just get this in here real quick. The reason I was talking about Ayton being the first pick is because Kendrick Perkins tweeted this picture.
I cannot stand Kendrick Perkins.
He said, number 1 picks look like this. Carry on. And it was a picture of Ayton.
That's sweet. Kendrick Perkins just bothers me. I won't get too much into it, but because he's so, like, when ESPN re-upped his contract, and we've talked about this a little bit on the show, I think, but when ESPN re-upped his contract, they said something along the lines in their official statement of, Perkins, K-Perk, as he's affectionately called, brings such flavor and such a natural way of speaking. And
he just talks loud.
Just tell us that he doesn't speak very well, dude.
Yeah.
And this is nothing on,
we talked about this last time.
I think we did. And it's like, it's just frustrating for me to listen to him sometimes.
In the car or something. I remember you saying
to make a point, all he does is raise his voice.
That's what I'm saying.
And he talks like he's talking to one of his boys, just hanging out, which to some extent I appreciate the casualness.
He's
but
comfortable.
But when you go on these shows that are like upscale type, like there's a certain level of professionalism that I feel like he just misses.
I agree.
A guy that
I think Shaq does a good balance of.
I thought a guy was Marcus Spears. Usually is kind of. I don't know if you've seen him on. He's usually on. He'll be on Get Up. He'll be on what else? I'm trying to think. I usually see him on Get Up.
I know the name, but I can't picture.
Okay, bearded guy, NFL type. He speaks on the NFL and stuff. Usually with like Dan Orlovsky, other guys, Greeny, and all that stuff. But he's a good guy that has a good time, but also has that professional level. I think he's a good comparison. I follow him a lot. But before we talk about Atlanta, Milwaukee, Ben Simmons. This dude is just afraid to shoot the basketball.
Yep.
Right?
At all.
I never thought he was good.
I don't.
Let me just put that out.
I never thought he was good.
Let's say this.
Like talented wise. I thought he was still a force though.
He didn't miss a shot in the fourth quarter of any of the games.
Didn't.
Because he only attempted like 4 in all of the games.
He took 0 in the last 4 games.
Who was it? What statistic did I see that said somebody took more shots than him in the last something than he did all of the playoffs or something like that? It might have been Trey taking something in the first quarter, the first couple minutes of the quarter.
That might be
the worst free throw percentage in playoff history.
Who was?
Jesus.
Ben Simmons, like 30%.
Dude, somebody was tweeting. It was like, if Ben Simmons, if he wasn't like 6'7", it was like the UPS.
Yes, I saw that.
And then somebody replied. Somebody replied.
Like, no, don't do UPS like that.
They deliver.
Yeah, they actually deliver.
That's bullshit. I love it though.
I remember when he won Rookie of the Year when it was actually like his second season.
Yeah. He's a dominant athlete. He's a dominant athlete. That's the problem, though, is that he hasn't put the basketball side of it together.
He's a freak.
Exactly. And the way he moves for that size is so impressive. People forget he's that big.
I think the biggest problem with them is their 2 best players score in the exact same part of the court.
That's true. That's a great point,
when
actually.
You have a guy like Embiid that dominates the post, and then your second best player.
Embiid has a better outside game than Simmons.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's
I agree.
Seth had a few really solid games for them, too.
He scored a lot of points.
He
was making some noise. No, he didn't.
They also have Tobias Harris. He's not bad.
Is Tobias in the Sixers still?
Mm-hmm. He can hoop.
He can. He's been kind of, I don't want to say quiet, but like I haven't heard much about him.
He just kind of does his thing now.
He's not going to go off for like 40.
Like for the Pistons, he was a pure scorer in
Simmons
Detroit.
has been nothing for them. Has been nothing.
Tobias is a guy who has the potential to be a scorer, though. He can put up 20-some a game.
Perfect third guy you need to win a championship.
He's that you need
CJ McCollum type guy. That's
a good comparison.
Could be a good.
He's never going to go for like 50, but
no,
he'll always be like.
So he'll have one of his games.
Let's talk Milwaukee, Atlanta, and I think the Hawks are coming with a lot of steam, obviously, right, and a lot of momentum. And Milwaukee showed that, hey, we just took out the Nets, who a lot of you guys thought was winning the whole thing, and now we're being counted off just because Trae Young is going crazy. What?
Half of the Nets.
That's true. But I
still had KD, so.
I've never been happier that a team is lost in my entire fanhood. I don't.
I'm glad the standout number 1 pick is out.
Yeah.
But then again, if they had a healthy team, I'm not going to root against them. It's hard to.
But the Bucks prove that they're obviously a solid ass team. Like they're not messing around. From Giannis and even down. Like obviously Giannis is number 1. What you got over there?
Tick on your couch or something.
Bro, what?
I don't know. What is that?
It ain't a tick, dude. Just kill it. Kill it, bro. We got a little bug interruption on the pod.
I'm scared of ticks, man. My dogs bring home ticks from their walks.
Sarge had like 3 a couple of weeks ago. It was bad.
I had one in my hair stuck to my head, and I had to pull it off. I was scared, man. I thought I had limes.
Give you a little nightmare. I thought I had limes, bro. Jesus. But,
I was
the Bucks.
I was counting them out for a while.
The Bucks?
I was too.
In the first round?
I was too.
I never counted them out. To be honest, I took them to be. I don't know if they were down the Nets. I thought they had a really good chance to if anyone was going to.
The Knicks?
Nets.
No.
Sorry.
Who did the Bucks
who they have
play
first
round?
Oh, I'd have to look, actually. I don't really know.
Why is it so hard?
I'm thinking of the East.
What?
I know the 8 seed was Washington, 7 seed.
In the first round, Milwaukee had the Heat.
The Heat.
Oh.
They went from the Heat to the Nets.
You know what? You're right. They did
They
sweep
swept them.
They swept
So,
the
I
Heat.
take
Yeah,
that
it was
back.
bad. It was bad. What are you doing with
I
the
don't know
mic?
what it is. It's Giannis. I don't know what it is. The Bucks are scary.
Are you trying to tighten it? What are you doing?
I don't know.
So
Anyway,
here we
the
were
last
fidgeting
round
with it.
against the Nets when they went up 2-0. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Right?
They just won by 50.
Yeah. That
I
remember that
might have been
game.
something.
I remember that game.
But then, give them credit. They got it
They
done.
did, dude.
Got it
Holidays
done.
a
They
big
really
piece.
did.
Somehow Giannis always ends up with like 35 at the end. Like, I don't get it.
Same damn
And you don't.
thing
It
every
doesn't
time.
seem like it. I want to say it's a quiet 35.
It is a quiet 35. He has the
'cause he's
same
still-
shot every single time. He shoots it in the same 4 feet every single time.
But the thing is, like the whole offense runs through him. That's kind of like a Trey Young thing. Like 72 points of last game, he either scored or assisted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like
Drew,
the offense runs through him.
Drew Holiday.
He's so good.
He's been clutching up.
He's their point guard.
And Middleton.
That man can play.
All right, so who's taking it all?
Buckets in there.
Are we really jumping on the Suns
I'm
train
on
here?
the Suns.
I mean,
With
I'm not gonna
CP
be
back?
that guy. I'm not going to be
Until
that
you
guy.
give me a reason.
I'm
not
gonna be
to.
that guy until
Dude,
you give me a reason not
They're
to.
the favorite, in
They've
my
won
opinion.
9
I
I
think
think
they're
they
the
are
favorite.
too.
They've
I'm
won
gonna
9
go.
games in a row.
Have they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Well,
went down 2-1 to the Lakers, and they've won every game
Yep.
since.
I think you're right. Yeah, because they won 4-2 against the Lakers, and then obviously 4-0 against the Nugs, and
they're
now
up
2-0 over the Clips.
I'm going to go with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I want Milwaukee
I
to
don't
win
want.
it.
That's the one.
think that's a
team
fair
I've
pick, too.
Left, I don't want to win.
I had a
Really?
couple of their fantasy players.
I want the Clippers
I
to
want
win,
to
but
see
that ain't
Giannis
happening.
win one. I want to see
Is
Giannis
Kawhi
win one
still?
just to shut everybody
Kawhi's still
up.
gone, right?
Yeah.
He's hurt. He's
Is
out
there
for
any
a
way he
minute.
comes back?
I wanted the Clippers until that happened.
They haven't
and
really
that's-
said what his injury is.
They haven't, have they? They kept it pretty
isn't it?
close-lipped. What?
I think it's his ankle.
They were saying ACL, but
Interesting.
I think that's kind of that's
Broad.
that's out of the question now.
I think we would have heard if it was something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
They're kind of leaving it ambiguous as to the fact, like, oh, he might return.
Yep.
Like we don't know, and maybe they're just trying to
You
do
know
that
what I was
for
thinking
headlines.
about
But
actually? Now that we were talking about the Pistons
What?
earlier, the Pistons roster from a couple years ago,
yeah,
all of them are on a playoff team this year.
Successful.
right. That's what we're talking about.
Luke
Tobias, talking
Luke
about the point
Kennard.
guard. What was his name
Yeah.
from
Reggie Jackson,
Reggie? You're talking about Reggie.
Kennard.
Luke Kennard.
Bruce Brown was on the Nets.
Bruce
Oh my
Blake
Brown.
gosh,
Griffin's on the
dude.
Nets.
Don't even get me started on
Drummond.
Blake Griffin.
Drummond was on the
Blake
Lakers.
Griffin, a bum.
Griffin. Dude,
Blake Griffin is a bum.
Dude.
I used to be a Blake
Karma.
Griffin guy.
Stephen
dude,
A.
he got
Karma was the #1 reason the Nets are not winning. Stephen A. Smith,
That
I
was
loved
the best
that.
video I've ever seen.
what video?
People got so triggered
Stephen
over that
A's
too.
Top 5 reasons that the Nets lost.
Yeah, number
Number
2
one
was
was
coaching.
karma.
Number 2
I
was
did
coaching
see
from
that.
I said,
I
Blake
did
Griffin,
see that.
you
'Cause they
gave
were
up on
talking
You
about-
Detroit.
gave up on Detroit. You ain't dunk for the. I did the Stephen A. You didn't dunk for 2 years. You gave up on Detroit, and now you're out there dunking. I'm like, dude, this is great. I,
was like,
love this.
Exactly.
Right?
Thank you.
Somebody gets it.
Yeah.
Somebody gets it. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, until you give me a reason to not like the Suns and what they're doing right now.
No, I love Suns.
Their whole team
There's no
is
reason
just-
not to like them.
yeah.
Suns Hawks finals would be amazing.
They seem like they have the most balanced lineup
would be
too. Not to
really
say
cool.
Milwaukee doesn't, but they seem
Two
like they have the
young guys,
most
two young
balanced.
guards going at each other.
Yeah, if the Hawks make it,
That's
man,
true.
all props to them.
That's true.
What a like a
Dude, the Hawks, like the last couple of years too, like obviously Trey Young has really brought them out of, but they have been
Yeah.
bummy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
They have
Their
been
starting
bummy.
lineup right now is 21 to 23 years old. Every
Really?
single one of them.
I did not know that.
Every single one of them. 21 to 23
So
years
now
old.
we're starting to get to the point too where like I'm going to be 20 in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're starting to watch like the NFL draft and the NBA and all this shit. And like these guys are like our age.
Yeah.
And that is so
Freaks
weird.
of nature.
That is nuts.
you like look at the TV and you're
Yeah.
just
You look at yourself like,
You're like,
what
bro.
am I doing, bro?
Yeah.
Right?
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that I don't know. It's now starting to get to that point where like guys our age are going to play at this high elite level of
Oh, yeah.
sports,
Did
and
you
it's
guys
just insane.
See Ben Simmons, the video of Ben Simmons playing video games from 2 years ago about the Hawks. So he's on his headset and he's playing with
Who
somebody.
was he playing with? Yeah, I don't know.
He's
who.
playing with another NBA player in the
playing
NBA.
2K?
I don't know.
I don't
He's
think-
playing. I think it was Fortnite.
Yeah,
or
I
something
think he
like
was
that.
playing. Yeah, I don't
And the buddy he's talking to over the mic's like, I gotta go. I got
Yeah.
a game tomorrow. And Ben Simmons is like, who you playing? He's like, we're playing the Hawks. And Ben Simmons is like, oh, you got plenty of time, man. You can
But
stay
that
up all
dude,
night
that
and
just
play.
tells you like where
And
the
then-
Hawks were at a couple of years ago.
Yep.
They stunk.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, what a out of nowhere
Mm-hmm.
team.
They really are.
100%. 100%. So who did they go through to get here?
They could lead to a lot of success in their history, or in the next upcoming history. Because once you get that experience, it takes it to a whole nother level. Once you get that playoff experience,
NBA playoffs I think we've had in a while, because it's like
a lot of attention there. A lot of attention.
2 seed and the 4 seed. In the East, it's the 3 and the 5.
Like, it is. You got it. You got it right. You got it right. I mean, because the number ones got 2 of them got knocked out last round with the Jazz and then the 76ers. Yeah. So I
was a big fan.
That was both number 1 seeds. Yeah, both number 1 seeds got knocked out last round.
Jazz until
I was too. So kind of interesting. But otherwise, I think that's all we've got for the.
That's all we got.
For the pod. Nothing crazy.
You see, 2022 NFL approved alternate helmets.
I did not see that.
Along with
you know what I wanted to talk about was that
jerseys and stuff like that.
No, like throwbacks.
Oh, throwbacks.
Yeah,
I think baseball
like the Eagles,
baseball just did that. MLB just approved like not Color Rush, but their version of Color Rush jerseys for the MLB.
Yeah.
And
all right, here we go. Done. I wanted to say this: the Bears. We talked about that earlier. The Bears buying. They're bidding. They put in a bid. They haven't only they've officially purchased it. They put in a bid to buy a potential stadium property in Arlington Heights. So it's in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and
So it's not in Chicago?
Ted Phillips announced that last Thursday, a week ago. I believe it's like 45 minutes outside of Chicago. So
Arlington Heights Bears.
Yeah. So the Bears lease at Soldier Field runs through 2033.
Wow.
Lease? Yeah. Wait. Do all teams lease like that?
I guess.
If they
I did not.
Say their lease runs up. Who plays there?
Who? Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah. You probably just renew it.
Yeah. Exactly.
The other football team waiting to play.
I never knew that's how the business side of it operated.
Yeah, I know.
I thought they just owned it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know who buys it then. Somebody else builds it, and that's who you buy it from? Or?
So the CEO said it, quote, it's our obligation to explore every possible option to ensure we're doing what's best for our organization and its future. If selected, this step allows us to further evaluate the property and its potential.
Maybe they lease the property, and then the owner.
I would assume if they're building a stadium, they're going to own that something.
The owner of the team owns the stadium, but they lease the property. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's actually
like they pay for the stadium to
that
go
might
on
not
property.
be that might not be a bad.
So you take your stadium with you in the
whoever's
property
buying
lease.
Right.
Whoever's buying this house right here, and
that's
you
a good point.
They just want to bulldoze it. They can do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. They got, let's see. Okay, the stadium is owned by Chicago Park District.
There it is.
Not the owner.
Chicago PD?
Yeah, Park District. That's hilarious.
So yeah, they rent or lease it from them.
Oh my gosh. That's interesting, man. That's really interesting. Moving from Soldier Field, where there's a lot of a history there, obviously, but
no doubt.
I just think it's very interesting to see
Who knew?
I wonder how many other NFL. Do you think all NFL teams lease like that?
There's no way, because like the Raiders just built that whole right. So
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to look at it.
We'd have to look into it. But for a future episode of Division I Rejects, Drew,
educational podcast right here.
Appreciate it, brother.
No problem.
It's been a blast having you on.
You had me.
Blaze, per usual. Been a good one. Otherwise, if you made it this far, I don't know why you're still listening, but you've obviously enjoyed it, so I appreciate
We've been
you.
rambling on for a minute.
We have been talking, but the conversation was good today.
Good.
Yeah, it was.
It was full of good
learned
tidbits.
some stuff.
We learned some stuff. We learned together.
That when they listen to Division I Rejects, they'd get knowledge.
Right?
No,
I didn't.
Education. I didn't. Under the educational podcast section.
If you did enjoy this podcast, leave us a good rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to it. If you're watching on YouTube and you got to see some of those clips we're talking about during the episode, you're the best. Appreciate you, and look forward to another great episode next week.
Yay! Sons of Fort.